Throughout the month of March, I'll be uploading a series of Cinderella craft videos. In this video, I'll show you how to make a Cinderella Tsum Tsum out of polymer clay. Let's get started. Now for Cinderella's body, I have a piece of white polymer clay and a piece of flesh-colored polymer clay, and I'll be joining these two pieces together with 2 pieces of jewelry wire. Before I slide the wire in, what I did was I just pressed both of these down on my mat like this, just to flatten them so they'll stick together and they'll be nice and flush. Then I'll take my little piece of wire and slide this into the head, and then I'll slide the other one into the body like this, so they're sticking out a little bit, and just join the 2 pieces together like this. Now I'll get started on her hair. For that I have a piece of yellow polymer clay that I shaped like a log, and I'll be flattening this pretty thin. And then what I'll do is I cut out this little template, and I'll be using this to make the shape of her hair, just cutting around this. Now that I have the polymer clay the thickness I wanted, I'll just place my little template right on top of it and then just cut all around the edge. And for that I'll be using this polymer clay tool. So what I'll do is I'll just cut around the edge here until I have the shape of her hair. I've cut all around the edges, so now what I'll do is just remove the excess and then remove my little template, and this is what I'm left with. I was trying to recreate the shape that she has here in the front. She has 3 little curves. Now that I finished doing that, I'll just smooth out the edges a little bit with my finger, just rubbing my finger around the edges, and then I'll place this right on top of her where her hair would go. So the middle one goes right in the middle, and then I'll just press this down and all around the edge, and I can cut off if it's too big, then I can always cut off the excess like this. Now that I'm finished doing that, I'll be attaching her nose, and she has a tiny little nose, so I have a little piece of polymer clay here, and it's flesh colored, and all I'll do is I'll press it right down here where her nose should go, and then I'll just use the back of this little lollipop to flatten it. Just press it down like this. For her eyes, I have 2 tiny pieces of dark blue polymer clay. What I'll be doing is taking one with my finger and just pressing it where I want it to go, like this, and then just pressing it down with my lollipop stick until it becomes a little bit flat, like this. I finished with both her eyes, so now I'll get started on her headband. For that I have a piece of blue, which is the same color as the blue that I'll be using for her dress. I shaped it into a log, and now I'll just be flattening it. So I have my rolling pin, and I'll make this nice and flat, and I want the ends of it to be thinner than the middle, because that's what her headband looks like. Now that I have it the right thickness, I'll just cut a little off each side just to taper the ends, because the ends are a little bit thinner than the middle. It's now the size I want it, so I'll now place it on Cinderella. And I'll put it right here on top of her head, making sure that I press down at the sides, because it goes right down here to the side. And then there's a little round part that goes right here at the ends of those, but I'll add those later. Just press it down here to that side. And now Cinderella has her headband. Now it's time to get started on Cinderella's dress, and for that I have this light blue polymer clay that I'm going to flatten. The color of this is actually called light blue pearl, and this is a Sculpey clay, and I like it because it has a nice shine to it. So let me just flatten this, and then I have this template that I cut out that I'll use to make her dress, and what I used to make the little curves at the bottom are these tiny little stickers that I had in the house. The clay is the right thickness, so I'll just place my template right on top, and then I'll take the sharp side of my tool and just cut all around the edge. Like this, cut all around the edge. And the reason I made it with scalloped edges is because the back of her dress actually has those little edges too. See how it has these little curves, and she has 5 of them. So that's what I'll be making. Now I'll peel off the excess, and then I'll remove my template, and then I can smooth out the edges of it with my finger, but I'll just show you what it looks like so far. This is what it looks like. Now to make this part of her dress, the light blue part, what I did was I made another template that looks like this, and I have this light blue clay here that I'm going to flatten, and then I'll just cut around the edge of it the same way I did before. And I want this to be pretty thin before I put it on the dress. Now that I have this nice and thin, I place the template on top, and now I'm just going to cut around the edge of the template and then attach it to the dress. I finished cutting out my clay. Now what I'll do is just place it on top of the dress. Like this. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. Now that I've finished attaching the light blue to the dress, what I'll do is put this dress on Cinderella. I'll put it right on the side, press down here on this side, go all the way around, and just press down on the edges to make sure that it sticks to her. Then I'll be adding the dark blue around her collar. Now that I've finished attaching her dress, I'll be attaching this blue collar around her neck. And this is this part, this dark blue collar. So I have a piece of blue polymer clay shaped like a log, and what I'll do is I'll just cut this a little because it looks too long. I just cut a little bit off. And then I'll take it and I'll just wrap it all the way around her neck, cutting off the excess as I go. And then just pressing this down under here. I finished with her collar, so now I have two pieces of the lighter polymer clay that I used for the frill around the dress, this part, and what I'll do is I have them shaped into two little balls. I'll flatten each one with my finger and then attach one on either side of her headband, like this. Her headband is finished, so one of the last things I have to do is attach her little bun and then her feet. So for that I have this piece of jewelry wire, and I'm just going to place it on the back of her head, back near the blue of the collar, like this bun. Slide it down into the head, and then I have a piece of yellow polymer clay that I'm just going to slide right on top of that bun. Here we go. And I'm just going to slide this down on top of the wire. And just like that, she has her little yellow bun. Cinderella has 4 little feet underneath, and they're all light blue, but instead of making them all light blue, I'll be making 2 of mine silver, and those will be for the back feet because those will be the glass slippers. So I just roll each one into a tiny little log like this, and just press one on either side. One over here, and then I'll put one over here, and the 2 front ones will go over here. Cinderella has all 4 of her feet, and now she's ready to be baked in the oven. If you're not old enough to use the oven, please ask a grown-up for help with this part. I'll be adding her eyebrows and eyelashes once she's finished baking. Now my Cinderella Tsum Tsum is finished. I painted her eyebrows brown with paint and a little toothpick, and what I did with her eyelashes was I used a little Sharpie to color in her eyelashes. Then I glazed her all over with Sculpey glaze. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and post in the comments. And please don't forget to share this video. Thanks for watching.